Guys, welcome back to what we now call Booze and Food, man. And if you're on Instagram, we're at The Best Whiskey. And get this, I'm at the Whiskey Blender where it just so happens that the best whiskey exists. Now, what got me into whiskey is a simple question. Can I build a brand around whiskey? Because I love brands. The answer is yes, I can. Through communication, here's what I didn't know. All that whiskey had to offer. Not the friends, not the family, not the community, not the support, not the camaraderie, not the good times. We thought we were having good times getting drunk and passing out when we were kids. Man, it's gotten so much better. And it all started with what you're seeing here, a whiskey tasting. Now, we came in to do a blend. Tim set us up real nice. The challenge is I had no clue how to drink whiskey, and I don't think you did either. And because I know a lot of people, I told him, say, man, I can help you with the social media stuff because I know a lot of folks and I've never heard this stuff. And I know a lot of things too. So I actually had Tim line these up in order based on how he would walk you through a tasting. And each one of these takes you on a journey and it blends a very different experience. All that means is if you start too hot, it messes things up. If you start too bold, it'll set you back. If you've never drank whiskey in this way, it'll ruin you. And if you're not prepared, hence what he said in the other video, don't eat spicy food, don't drink coffee. You can drink Coke. He said, don't chew gum. There's a lot of things he said, do not do when you're coming to a whiskey tasting. So I now have had the pleasure of drinking all of these, to be clear. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I also know the power of a good nose, a great finish, and even more importantly, good whiskey. Here's the two worlds people live in, bourbon and rye. Technically, once you get into barley and wheat, you're talking about super like cereal base, so people don't like that. And then wheat, super soft. So the ones who've got more of a whiskey palate, they love it, but they're not like, I gotta have a wheat today. Everyone who we know loves a good rye and a great bourbon. And now we know that bourbons make what? Well, a rye makes a great bourbon technically, but Tim just seems to find these ryes that are amazing. So he actually brought this over last night, Charry Night. And get this, I had no clue it was a rye. I found a bottle named Orange Juice. Everybody knows my claim to fame, guys. And I'm not even famous. But I remember drinking orange juice and I said, man, this tastes like orange juice. And Tim goes, yeah, whatever. And he tried, he goes, oh, that does taste like orange juice. It's like, I told you, man. Granddaddy, I told him a week before, hey man, I think this needs to be bottled. He goes, Richard goes, no, I can see how it could blend. Next week they bottled the whole thing. So I was like, I told you this a week ago. You never had this, but we also tried, that was a bourbon though. Candy corn was a bourbon, I do remember that. The point is, rye has this perspective, bourbon has this perspective, and Tim will start you where he believes is going to build your experience. So, step one, you pour some whiskey. You don't need a lot. Under this line is good. That'll give you about 3 sips. Boom, like that. That's a lot of whiskey to people who like know a little bit about whiskey, and I know a little bit now. I'm not going to fill all these up, so you ain't got to worry about that in this particular video. But first thing you do is you let this sit sometimes depending on what your guide is telling you. Richard and Tim will let you know if it gets better with air or if you should get into it right then and there. Most time when it's been put in the bottle, you can get to it. So first thing, you sip it. Let it sit in front of your palate 3 to 5 seconds. As Tim said in another video, get those salivatory glands rocking and working. And then the flavors begin to build. Now, I cook, hence booze and food. So I love good flavor. And I think my favorite person to express the flavors I put in things is Theron. Theron gets into like a church shout almost. When it's like slapping, you're like, oh, he gets to dancing almost. He's been the most entertaining. He goes, oh. I said, Theron, you must really love food, man. And he's an example of what it means for me to put great food in front of people. And even big, Chance, he'll try things. But when he's wrong, he says, look, I'll admit when I'm wrong because I put stuff together in a very unique way. That's what they do at the blender. And again, you nose it. You have a dominant nostril. You have a not so dominant nostril. Keep your mouth open. This is going to help the whiskey breathe and you breathe, to be clear, but also it's going to help you basically get ready for the flavors you're about to, I don't want to use the word endure, but basically embrace. What I love about this particular whiskey is 9 out of 10 times, it tastes exactly like it says on the bottle. And then when you have a Richard or a Tim explain, you go, wow, that is there. I do taste that vanilla, that caramel, that leather, that peach tea, that Hawaiian punch. Which one is this? I taste the fruit in this. I don't know if the Samurai is going to kick my ass, but I for sure know that there's some fruit in there, which makes this fun. And then I get to tell you about the history of the wood and the time that went into it. But I remember the first time I went to the Whiskey Blender, or I think we went to TX to do our first tasting. I didn't want to come in here and be completely blind. So I scheduled something, took the guys out, said, guys, we're going to TX. They're going to put us to a tasting. And even when we dropped water in that one that they gave us, and it smelled like chocolate. I was like, wow, that's it. I didn't know whiskey could do that. But I also didn't know that glassware was a thing. I only drank it out of a red cup. I had no clue. Just fucking up completely, if I'm being candid. So we're going to continue to extend our reach. There's going to be picks that I do, picks that Richard does, and picks that Tim does, all based on my experience with the Whiskey Blender. And this is how it started, literally with the tasting. And big thank you to Tim and them as we get ready to close this out. Put it in the Glen, you nose it, you let it sit, you drink it. If you're not accustomed to it right away, by your third sip, it gets better. And by your fifth sip, you might be somebody else if you don't have a lot of liquor experience. But even more importantly, because the flavors are as clear as they are on this bottle, are in these bottles, magic happens, man. So if ever you thought about creating or getting involved or experiencing whiskey and you don't know how to do it, get this, I didn't either. Now we do it at my house every Monday. We do it here at the Blendery continually. And I think there's even a better way to highlight the best way to experience whiskey by way of food, entertainment, and fun. So, whiskey tasting. What was your first whiskey tasting? What did you learn in that whiskey tasting? What do you wish you knew more about whiskey? Like, hey, I really don't know a lot about whiskey. Trust me, I didn't either, guys. If you wanted to know more, what would be some of those questions you ask? And as I always say, guys, for now, just keep it whiskey.